Right, I'm doing this one straight after because I've got to go. I probably won't be back for a day or two because my mother goes to her various places and I have to be there to sort her out. So, Centres of Excellence. Now, this is a kind of replacement for money, although it's completely different. What happens at the moment? We have to go to work. In the 70s, it was great because you went. Say for instance you didn't earn £100, it's a lot less than that, but just for £100 you go earn £100, come back, wife and kids all in the house nicely, no money problems because your mortgage was £20, your car payment was £10 and food was so much, and everyone had spare money so they could go out, buy stuff, have nice things. Then the credit card system came in because manufacturing needed more money, the government needed more money, you know, those lending money needed better, you know, remember everyone's pushing all the time for more and more and more. So in the 80s and 90s everything went downhill basically. That lovely period we had in the 70s disappeared, everyone suddenly owed money, house prices went up because there was more money. And what happens when you play a game of Monopoly, you get the family round the table, you've all got equal amounts of money to start with, but at the end of the game somebody's got all of it, that's the winner. Well, if you imagine a massive game of Monopoly, everyone's got the money, everyone's got the same amount, although that doesn't happen. Eventually the people doing the investing and getting the interest are going to get all the money. Now that's what's happening now. The rich are getting richer, the top 1%, they're now, for instance Rothschilds and that with the banks, central banks, they're lending money only to sure things. If you go to the bank now and say, look, I've been working here 3 years, I earn even if you earn 200,000, you know, they really don't want to lend you anything. And their excuse is they don't want to get into the same situation as, I mean, we've had banks almost collapse because of this situation. And they were bailed out by us, the taxpayer. They were given money to lend back to us to make interest. You know, there is a meme somewhere which I should have put up, which really happened. You know, lend us some money, the bank said. Oh, but you know, you haven't got any money to lend us. Well, lend us some. How are you going to pay the interest sort of thing? Lend us some and we'll lend it back to you. And that's really what happened. The government gave them all the money, they lent it back slowly to very, very sure things. And the sure things are equity release, where they allow you to take a lump sum out of your house and they then add that on to the figure that you're going to owe them when you sell the house or when you die. So that goes up, but you don't have to pay them anything, but you've got this lump sum. But eventually it'll take the cost of the house. So that's their way of getting your house. So there's all this skullduggery and undermining, you know, payday loans. How many percent? 2,000%. So the banks are lending to these people. Now, every 10,000, say euros, I saw this in euros, every 10,000 euros of the bank lends another bank, they only have to put 100 euros in the central bank to back it up. Where's that logic? So in other words, they create it electronically, they give it to you in money, but it's actually been created. There's no backup anywhere. So they've been allowed, I think it was Margaret Thatcher who first set it all off in motion. I think she realised how bad it was going to get. But there's now money that shouldn't be is out there. You know. So all these problems, and obviously there's a payday loan thing where people just get into so much problem. You know, the interest added on is just terrific. But they're lending to all these people in order to. So in other words, what's happening is that people lending the money who have got the money are getting richer and richer, and it's all the money out of the economy. So we've basically got nothing now. In fact, among the Project X associates, we are doing a lot of swapping now. So if somebody wants a night sight, we will swap it for a load of uniforms or parts of guns, you know, things like that. You know, there's no cash now. It's dreadful. So yeah, so basically cash is going to go out of the economy soon. Now, Centre of Excellence system was what, when my report went to the government and my dad took it up and said, look, here's money system, we don't need to make any changes, it's fantastic. The old boy who they were doing the report for looked at it and said, whoa, can't do this, he said. We've got, we can't be the same as the ruffians, because they'll all be the same level. You know, as soon as an MP joins Parliament, he suddenly gets 79,000 or whatever, and 130,000 in expenses. Some of them don't. Some of them are there for genuine reasons, but get knocked down. You know, so that's all a scam as well. That Parliament and voting and all that is all rubbish. That's just to make us think we're in charge. We're not. The money people are in charge. The people who don't get voted in and out. They're the lobbyists. They're the ones who pay all the party fees and all that, the party political whatever, and the lobbyists. So we want to get out of this system. Probably never happen, but I'll just show you how everyone else has done it. People with a money system, planets with money systems, no survival. You can have two countries on a globe with two men sitting there. He's got £10,000. He's got £10,000 and 1 penny. He's going to want to invade him. Doesn't work. Right, here's the system that does work. We've even had experts look at this. As you know, my dad, he wasn't a finance person, but they had that in the little group that was asked to do this, not consultation, because it was just among the four of them. So what happens is, to cut a long story short, you've grown up, you haven't gone to college, you've done your courses on the mobile using your screen at home. For practicals, you've gone to a Centre of Excellence for that subject. Now, I picked plumbing in the book, I think. So say, for instance, lots of plumbing people needed. That's on the, you look on the job system, it says who's needed. So this is, everyone's self-employed. There's no employers. So you've got that, you passed your course in plumbing, you've been to the Centre of Excellence, you've done all your practical work, they've given you the very best tools. And the van, if you need a van. Some people just got a buggy. In this country, you know, we'd have a van. So he's ready to go. No saving up for, you know, the best equipment and everything. Now, then, after he's passed the course and he's ready to start working, the jobs start coming in for his area. You might have a fixed area with, say, 5 plumbers. Jobs come up, he says, yes, I'll do that job. 9 o'clock next morning, turns up. He doesn't want to go back. See, at the moment, we've got inferior value engineered products, never the best for the job. Some have got failure designed into them, like shower units and things like that. They know they're going to overheat and go in the end. So what happens is, they use the best stuff, no money involved here, so they get the best goods. There's only one item, usually. There might be a shower unit, but you might have lots of different fronts to suit your bathroom. But, you know, say he's going to put a shower unit in. He wants to put the best unit in because he doesn't want to go back. He wants to do the best job. Because he doesn't want to create that job again. So he does a really good job, films himself doing it. The owner of the house takes pictures and films. that all goes on the system automatically. You don't have to download and put and upload and all that. It's all gone already. Other people who used to be plumbers, who can't leave their house because they're old or retired, can also rate that job. So you need somebody from them too, so that two friends can't collaborate, and you could have 20,000 people on the internet equivalent saying, yeah, good job, okay, then it's passed. You need so many votes, it's passed. Your centre of excellence percentage going to the ones you've chosen to go to, either racing, whatever, shooting, any hobbies, relaxing on the beach, any of that, you get a percentage closer to it. I won't say it's worth 10 points because there isn't. It's fluid. The money system is fluid. So basically then you might do another job, and then it might say, right, it's gone in the green, you can now go to your centre of excellence, so you can go home and sit down. Remember, he's got all his free food, free accommodation, free transport and free entertainment, mobile based entertainment on a screen. So that's TV, music, gaming, internet. So you don't really have to work. In fact, the idea is to get to 100% unemployment. All the bad jobs on these planets are done by robots, or have been eliminated completely. But he's put his shower unit in. Now, everyone else, the other 4 plumbers in his area, no other jobs have come in. It's getting to, it doesn't look as if there's any other jobs coming in. The system decides you should all go to 100%. Or should all go past the point where you can all go to your chosen centre of excellence for that week or day or month. Or however long they've got, I don't know. It's not calculable anyway. And that's what happens. Everyone jumps in their buggies, and might even have their bag ready, and they go to say, for instance, I've always picked the centre of excellence for Ferraris, and I've never really, because one of the things they showed me was a type of old transport that people, like steam engines, that people had a hobby in. Now, when you go to a centre of excellence, you go just with your clothing and your toiletries or whatever in this country, in this world. I don't know what they go with. Get in your buggy, go to your centre of excellence, and there's a hotel there, which is obviously the best because there's no money, and they can buy the best or have the best installed free. So everything's, your food's there, everything. And say for instance Ferrari. Now you can do what you like when you get to the centre of excellence, because there's the factory, the all the different Ferraris in a museum, workshops. You can have your own wreck from the old world and do it up. Now if you suddenly get fed up with that, that sits there, and you get another hobby and go to another centre of excellence. Someone else takes that over at the centre of excellence. Now, if you've been there a lot and you're a real enthusiast and everything, you get to take one home. So you can still own it, but instead of like we do at the moment, we get a lot of money together, which we're going to owe somebody, and they're going to get the interest. We go out and buy our Ferrari, and he says, right, off you go, there's the keys. You don't know anything about it, you don't know the servicing. People usually wreck their Ferrari on the first roundabout. They're just too quick. So none of that, you've done all that, you know how to service it. If anything goes wrong with it, you get it on your mobile, take this back to the centre of excellence please. Goes back to the centre of excellence. You can fix it next time you go, doesn't matter if you don't, because someone else will fix it. You then don't own it. But you can go there, probably own the same one again if you like it again. But what you haven't got is one sitting at home rusting in the garage. People get fed up. I don't know whether you've seen the cars outside my house in Milton Keynes, but some people have. It's just not worth getting rid of them now. You just put them there and buy another one when they pack up. So, you know, we've got buses and all sorts of things. But, so that's the Centre of Excellence system. The Centre of Excellence system covers everything from all the diseases. Now, food is a different subject, but just to give you some idea, this end is all staple food products like bread and everything like that. That end is the perfect French cuisine and expensive, what in this world is expensive. Depending on how greedy we are, taking food from the supermarkets, because you can take it, or you can have it delivered, or you can have takeaways delivered, or you can have a recipe box for you to cook something at home. But you don't need a kitchen at home because takeaways are free. When we lived in Corfu, it was actually cheaper to eat out. It was to buy all the stuff and make it. Then you've got all the washing up and everything as well. Don't need any of that. This is fluid again. So it goes from staple food to best. If it's looking like we're greedy and we're buying lots of bars of chocolate and people taking 10 bars of chocolate from the supermarket and eating it, your system's going to tell you you're going to kill yourself eventually, and that might then be put on the Centres of Excellence system rather than on the free system. So you have to earn in order to go to the Centre of Excellence to eat your favourite foods. You know, and obviously when you go to, say for instance, a French or Italian or whatever Centre of Excellence, you learn everything. You learn all the history, you learn the cooking, you eat the food, which all goes on your mobile and tells you what's too high, what's too low and everything, so you can correct that again when you go back home with food from the supermarket. So the Centres of Excellence literally cover everything. All you need is your house, a bed, and your clothing and stuff like that. You don't need all these hobbies and stuff at home. Now, for instance, say for instance you like a certain type of vase or jug. You put this, they're very, very low Centres of Excellence because it's all relatively inexpensive stuff. So you'd hardly have to, if you went out and swept the road outside your house and filmed it and put that on, somebody's going to say, give him points. You know, Centre of Excellence. You can go to a Centre of Excellence. Go to the one that says this particular type of, what time we got? 17? Particular subject. You like, say, certain type of vase, maybe blue glass or something. And they show you how the blue glass is made. It's all done there on the spot. There's a big blue glass museum. There's a hotel for you to sit in. There's restaurants for you to, all in the Centre of Excellence. If there's a lot of people for the blue glass Centres of Excellence, for glass Centres of Excellence, they will, you can say, right, this is getting too big now. I'm going to make my own Centre of Excellence. I really like this stuff. So you go, put on your system, I want to build a Centre of Excellence for blue glass. The builders all suddenly turn up wherever, you get allocated a bit of land or underground, where remember we've got 100 miles of rock downwards, you know, to play with. And you won't need heating. Well, mind you, that's another thing, buildings. You don't need heating underground if you go down a certain distance. Remember, building underground here at the moment is very expensive. They're only doing it in London for London houses. But because there's no money in these systems, you just put it on your mobile. Build me underground, please. The surface of most of these planets is what looks like now a massive museum. You know, you can ask on your mobile, can I stay in a 300-400 year old cottage? Those are up to 5,000-6,000 years. And they say, yeah, okay, Centre of Excellence, do a bit of now, if there's nobody going there, you'll automatically be put to going there, whether you've done any work or not. So if there's a free couple of days, which nobody's booked, and you say, yes, I'd like that, they allocate you it instantly. Same with the centres of excellence. Say, for instance, 30 people is a capacity for a centre of excellence, and there's only 10, your percentage of going there will be up. You'll have to do less to get there, or nothing. That's the centre, the beauty of the centre of excellence. Everything, there's no value engineering like there is with money. You know, cheap plastic this and Chinese that, and you know, okay, you pay what you get, basically. Everything is top notch, top quality, because no money, everyone can use the top stuff. Everything is recycled. You get recycling centres of excellence. You know, that shower unit, for instance, if that has to be replaced again, that shower unit goes back with a plumber, goes back to where it was made, the centre of excellence where it was made, and gets completely stripped back down. Parts are reused, metal is melted down. You see, we're melting stuff here. We throw all our glass away into a recycling bin, and that all gets melted again. Well, that's all heat in the atmosphere. That can't happen later on, unless we've got an escape pod, which we've already covered, where everyone has to get on the space station and disappear before the collapse of the Earth. Underground, you can regulate the air supply, so it doesn't matter what's happened above when you've got no oxygen left. Provided you've got an oxygen generator, underground houses survive. They don't leak as much as we've seen with these things they do on housing to test them. They pressurise them and see where the air's escaping. Well, it's escaping everywhere. If it wasn't, you wouldn't be able to breathe after 10 minutes in the house. You'd used up all the air, but down the bottom they regulate everything. You know, you can have more oxygen, less nitrogen, all sorts of things. Everything is possible in an underground house. So there'll be centres of excellence, like I say, everything will be covered by centres of excellence. If you want to go to an old town and do normal shopping, paying money and buy old goods and do it the old way, there's a centre of excellence for that. And that will have a whole town allocated to the centre of excellence. They give you the money, you can go shopping like we do now. If you're that, you know, like a historic. Everything is preserved like historic. Yeah, all the old buildings that are now used for other things, like churches for mosques and things like that, and old cinemas for mosques. No money. You just say, look at the cinema, think, I want that restored. Restore that cinema. And everyone turns up. All gets filmed. They go back. People sitting at home. Oh yeah, that's a good idea. Give him the points. See? They use all the best goods, because there isn't any bad goods. There's no value engineering. So that's how that works. Now, it's dead simple, isn't it? You know, simpler the better. At the moment, what we've got is all the corporations. There's only a few corporations that basically own everything. All our food, all our whatever. You know, they've got major shareholders who want money. They have to give them dividends. All that's got to be paid for too. You know, there's so it's very, very difficult. This centre of excellence system will be very, very difficult to implicate, basically because there's people who want to be rich. They don't want to be in with all us scum. They call us. What they call us? Can't remember the word. There's lots of words anyway that the MPs have used over the years, and because they've become an MP and got 75,000, they're now classed as rich. I mean, I was in a job once where I had £42,000, and I had that much money left over, and I was into military, so I was buying aircrafts and tanks and ferret armoured cars and Abbott self-propelled guns, and I had a Saracen, had a pig, I had Land Rovers, 350 deactivated firearms in all the various museums around Bletchley Park. You know, I just had so much money left. That's £40,000. That's before tax. You know, that's another thing, tax. Oh, could go on and on. So we've got to 25. So that's the Centre of Excellence fee. So basically, now, let's go back to the Blue Glass Centre of Excellence. You go there, you like it, you see how it's built, you think, well, they're nice objects. After you've been shown how to look after them, they then give you a load for your own house. See what I mean? But if you die, and your ancestors, your descendants, children or whatever, want them because you own them, they go to the Centre of Excellence, learn how to look after them and everything. Because what we haven't got, see what we do, if we break something now, we say, oh fair enough, that's a shame, sort of thing, buy another one. There won't be enough resources eventually to keep doing that, to keep buying stuff and breaking it, and so everyone's got to learn how to look after stuff. That can be done at the Centre of Excellence. Then you get to keep them, and then carry on in the family. So there is all that, but you got them free. That's the main thing. Didn't pay anything for them. You haven't got to hang on to them because they're going up in price, and you've got to sell them. You never get what you asked for anyway. So yeah, that it would work here if we could get everyone on board. So that's the sort of replacement for money on most of these planets. Money eventually is a killer. What do you get at the moment? You get people asking their parents for money. You get, they want them to die because they want their inheritance in their house to sell to get money. You know, there's people trying to get money out of you. There's in America you have to pay $25,000 for caesarean section. Here, when you die, you pay $4,000 for an hour-long funeral. You know, where do they spend $4,000? You know, everyone is taking the mickey, and everyone is on the make with money. People change. People aren't themselves with money when the money's around. That'll all be out the window. That's all gone. So that's basically it. Now in this country, if they did a financial reset, in other words, said to everybody, your house is now yours, you don't owe anything, all loans are back to zero, everything, think how the economy would suddenly erupt. Be fantastic. People would have money to spend, industry would go up, everything would probably make more money. These people who, because you see, there's only a few people who get all the interest from our loans eventually. The banks, you think that's the end layer, but it's not. It's the people who lend to the banks, the central bank, and the people who own the central bank. There's only a few of them. They're the only ones who'd suffer. And they'd say, oh, okay, we lost a few billion, but doesn't matter. You know, I've still got my house and my car, and I can still go anywhere I like. I've still got enough money to play with. Nobody will be affected. Everyone goes back to zero. Barclaycard, for instance, suddenly doesn't have, but just starts lending again. You know, there's they shouldn't be there anyway. Credit card people. We rely on them heavily. So yeah, so that's the end of that, and we've got 29. I've got to go. Okay, thanks a lot.